Welcome back to the Post Show, episode 6. This week we talk about ReZero, Tokyo Revengers, Dave's still chipping away at To Your Eternity. I'm finally starting to catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen with Dave. Again, the hype is real, folks. Watch it if you haven't. By pure coincidence, we both happened to watch The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, so we talked about that. And finally, we got to talk about our mutual love for the band Manchester Orchestra, and specifically their new record, Million Masks of God. So we hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, hey, Grant.
Hey, Dave.
How are you?
Oh, I am tired.
Yeah, I feel
It's been
you.
a long week.
It has been.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia, picking up. That show, let me tell you, Grant, they better pick it up a little bit. It's funny, like how we're having a very different problem from the last show we covered, where it's like they are really upping the animation quality, and the story is like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you watch it, and you're just trying to think of what are all the variables. Like, is this COVID related? Is this a lack? Also, I was reading. Apparently, this is not a well-loved arc in the manga.
I was gonna say there's no way it's COVID related because I'm assuming the arc's been out for a while, right?
Yeah.
But
No. But like, what I mean is, like, is this affecting like scheduling of stuff?
I see what you mean.
Is stuff taking longer, or like they're just kind of doing the process a little bit differently? But
yeah, you
I
showed
don't
me
know,
that tweet. There was like, it's weird to me how there's a season of My Hero Academia on, but no one seems to care.
Yeah, Ashley from Watch Mojo there.
I was like, yeah, but I mean, yeah, like, I'm coming off of AOT and how immensely popular Jujutsu Kaisen was, and then a lot of the rage I'm seeing right now. I'm curious what you're seeing, but I'm seeing lots of coverage for To Your Eternity, which I'm watching week to week, and Tokyo Revengers, and then
I think that's the problem. I think that might be the problem. Obviously, like you stated the obvious. Like, I think that is the problem. There's new shows, up and comers, that have like a different angle. They're telling a different story. They're using, there's more focus on the story versus they're showing, they're not telling. Whereas My Hero has been all telling and then shonen fights.
right.
It's that line. Like, it's hard. It must be hard for anyone in this business, especially like on on the story side of things. Like, how much, like, what is the right amount to put in? I guess in anything, right? When you're writing, but it's just it's definitely not. It's probably my least favorite season
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not to make this like a hate on My Hero thing,
No.
but just it's what makes it harder on them is how good stuff is right now.
Surrounding it. Yeah.
Like, I didn't go crazy. I'm curious where you are in Jujutsu Kaisen. I think I'm about to start episode 8 or 9.
I just finished 6 tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your thoughts, but what I will say briefly on Jujutsu Kaisen is like, I'm not far, but it is clearly just like shonen done well, right? And like there are obviously so many examples of like shonen done well, like, just where it's kind of firing on all cylinders. But like, I understand why this show was so popular. Like, when it wants to be funny, it is so funny.
It is.
And
It's
when
very
they
fun.
go for it animation wise, you're like one episode behind, I think, or there's a certain episode in particular around where you are.
I just finished a 2-episode arc, a 2-parter.
Okay. Well, it's early. Here's your spoiler warning if you're listening and if you care.
Yeah. Spoiler, guys.
So what happened for you just now?
So
Episode 5, 6.
So Itadori is dead in quotations.
Yes.
And then like the last thing, they've introduced clearly like a League of Villain-esque group, and they're trying to figure out how to either kill him or bring him on his side. It's kind of unclear. So that was the last thing I saw, was them trying to figure out. So it was the showdown between Megumi and I guess Sukuna, not because he had taken over Itadori at that point and ripped his heart out. Dope.
Yeah.
I remember doing that, and I was like, this might be a show where they might, obviously they're not going to kill a character, but he's going to die in this moment. And then he did, and I was like, good on you guys for doing.
Appreciate you
for doing that. You know, it's.
They're like, we saw how effective it was in season 1 when we killed Eren.
Yeah, fuck.
Of Attack on Titan.
But Dave, do you know what the huge difference is?
Is there a cliffhanger though on your episode of Jujutsu Kaisen? Did anything in particular happen?
No.
Or does it end on Itadori's death?
No, it kind of ended on like a room. Is it Goro, the guy with the bandana or the eye coverings? Him, and then the management guy, and then I'm assuming is a doctor, like a jiu-jitsu doctor, and they're kind of like looking over the body, and they're kind of all like button heads a little bit. You can all tell it from different facets. Yeah. And they also introduce like the second year students.
Right.
You're right. It is funny, but this before I forget, the point why this is so successful is, yes, it has all the shonen, it has like the sweet moments of fighting and this and that, but the characters have personality, and they are naturally, it's like they are believable human beings. Like it's.
What's the bandana, the blind bandana guy called? Get Gojo?
I think Goro or
Dude,
Gojo.
He's so goddamn funny.
Yeah,
he gets better too.
I don't doubt it.
No spoilers. He has like a semi-centric episode upcoming. I think it's 7. I could be wrong. But this was like the episode where I was like, Jesus.
The thumbnail in the next episode is just of him, so I don't know how much that credibility is to that.
Believe me, you'll know it when you see it, and then we'll talk about it. But that was like the one that I was like, holy shit, this show.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, but that you must have watched what 3 or 4 episodes since last week then.
Yeah, it would be 3. Yeah, because I had watched, or no, it would be 4. Yeah, 4.
So you're feeling it.
Absolutely. It's that was the thing. I had to clear up ReZero, which I did. I'm done.
Nice. And ReZero season 2.
Season 2.
In the can. How do you feel?
I got some thoughts. Yeah, I'll take a couple minutes here. I say this not out of disrespect, but the last, I want to say 6 episodes was a gauntlet. It was a slog. Like most episodes are usually 23 to 24 minutes long. These last 6, and that's the thing too, like they use all their time in this show very, very well. Like very rarely do the credits like just play by themselves. It's almost always played over like a scene at the end, and then it naturally flows into the next episode. But the last 6 episodes were like full 30-minute episodes. And there was zero, like it was, there was no fluff. It was like, there was just so much content they had to fit into these, like,
Apparently.
kind of 8 episodes. And it all made sense, and it was all good. And it was getting a little long in the tooth by the very end of it. But then when it got to the crux, like the last 2 episodes, and they start clearing shit up and like, wrapping everything up, it's like, okay, I appreciate all the effort they're putting in. Like, there's no... Of any anime I've watched, very rarely do you see just like there's no wasted space.
Right.
They use everything because that's it's very minute storytelling. So it's like I said, it's just appreciative. But it was hard. Like I'd have to go like 1 or 2 episodes at a time. It would be hard to jump into that third one for like that next half hour. Because there's just so much they pack into that 30 minutes. Watching this week to week, I've learned my lesson. I will not be binging this next time. I will be watching this week to week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because they have the confirmed additional seasons?
It's going to be. I would be shocked.
They definitely left it on a note that suggests there's more coming.
Like, so they did a really cool thing this season. So, like, by the end of the first season, there's kind of an end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, whether that actually is it. But for the time being, that is the end goal, is to get character A into a position A kind of thing. Like, it's not really spoiling. They're trying to get a certain character on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's like not a challenge. It's there's other people also competing for that title who all have legitimate rights to the title of ruler of this world or this kingdom. And so the thing with this this whole second season has moved the plot nowhere to that goal.
Oh, right. I think you'd said a bit about this last time.
The season's like a bottle episode. It's like a bottle season.
A weird branch off the main plot.
Exactly. But then that's what you think. And then the nice thing is when you get to the end of the season, and it's kind of similar to My Hero in this way, there's obviously like an important character who, you know, you didn't realize they had to overcome something. And it was like this whole season was getting this one character to be in the position to go do what they need to do. And it's like, oh, now they can go proceed the plot. And so it's like they took this whole time. And it's crazy how there's so much information, so many new characters, so many new plot lines. And it's so... I've never watched an anime that does it like this. It's a massive amount of information and plot lines, and there's stuff that's confusing. I had to look up wikis on a couple things. Like, there's just some things I just wasn't sure of. Yeah, very good experience. Like I said, the end was a slog. It was hard, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, ReZero. I'm super looking forward to season 3, which there has to be. The show is too good. Too many people are talking about it for there not to be.
It was definitely, you know, having not watched it, that, you know, reactions, reviews, hype. It was everywhere as second season was wrapping up.
It's, you know, and it's just one of those things that it's a bummer I didn't watch it week to week, because I definitely had the ability to do that. Because like I said, I think by the time I finished season 1, there was only like 6 episodes into the second season. But like we were watching so much other shit, so it's, you know, it's But no, it was ReZero too. I recommend ReZero to anyone.
I just I'll put it on my list, but you know what? You reminded me, and I'm not going to tell you what, because it is almost spoilery. But a couple things that you said in there did remind me of Vinland Saga. Are you going to go back to that? Or did you even start? I can't remember.
I haven't started, but I'm definitely watching that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think after Jujutsu Kaisen, I'll be watching that.
Yeah. Is that are any of these shows something you're going to watch with the wife? Or are these all mostly solo shows?
Leanna's been around for Jujutsu Kaisen. She likes it. She likes the vibe of it. Just, you know, like, it just oozes coolness, you know, like,
dude, yeah.
And
that one?
It's very much her style. It's her, you know, she enjoys the humor and you know, like, she, you know, I think she enjoys the action on it too. But I don't think that would be one she openly, like, we watch My Hero week to week. You know, she likes it.
True that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun watching. It was similar with like Attack on Titan, because, you know, her first season of Attack on Titan was season 4.
Oh God.
And just watching her like pick it apart and, you know, figure things out on her own, and like she very rarely asked questions, and she was putting it all together, and I was like, this shit ain't that deep. Like, you know, she put it together in 10 seconds. Like, it's and that's the funny thing too, looking back, is from someone who hadn't really watched anime, just to pick up this season.
Yeah,
anime is no different than any other TV show. Like, you know, they still have to have everything up front and center for people to figure it out if they haven't watched everything else. And she's doing the same thing with My Hero, you know, week to week.
Yeah,
she's got it.
My girlfriend just got to the season 3 lore bomb of
the basement
of AOT. Yeah, the basement and the following episode, but she's still like, if you remember, like, the lore bomb episode, like, it lasts like 2 or 3.5, because like it's like,
yeah,
the whole basement episode is them just simply getting to the basement, and then there's an episode called That Day, and then there's another episode after that like explains even more, because it continues into what's happening to Grisha in the past. So there's just all this stuff. So she's not 100% through it. I think, you know, because this has been a very slow burn getting to this point, right? So like every time we watch an episode, I kind of like got a refresher on a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
And like it is, that lore dump in those 2 episodes is so dense. You know what I mean? Like, you spend 3 seasons being like, hey, I'm ready for answers. And then when you get to the answers, it's like here is like 1,000 words on this thing that we've literally never mentioned for 3 seasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
paper to read.
Yeah, it's just like boom, 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 boom. But like they can't just put it in text either, right? Like they need to make characters say these words and have reasons to say these words. So it's very tricky to just dump and vomit exposition.
It's a balancing act, yeah.
Yeah, so it's tricky. So anyway, the episodes are very dense. We're not through it yet. But I think that she's she's like, okay, answers. Like, what are we fighting for? And I got a couple left, I think, in season 3, and that'll be like the big thing. Like, okay, now that you know where the ship is going, do you want to continue? Because she's heard me talk about how much I love season 4 and about how like it feels like it's like
a different show.
And
Same,
season 3 teased that up perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we got a couple more to go, but I'm stoked for it to finish it.
Absolutely. I'm excited here.
Yeah, so I've also, not related remotely, been watching Castlevania season 4.
Ooh.
So
you had mentioned to me there was a season you are not hot on. Is it the one prior to this?
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, and I won't spoil anything just in case, though I believe Castlevania is quite popular, but just in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah, big time.
It's ironically based on a video game.
Yeah,
right.
Belmonts.
Yeah, I didn't know that shit, but because it's pretty rich in lore, I never would have thought. But whatever. So I think this was the first, if not one of the first, animes that Netflix made themselves. Season 1 was absolutely, you could tell, an experiment. They were like, "Is this gonna work?" They did 3 episodes, 3 20-minute episodes. As season 1, and then season 2 is like them wrapping up that arc in an additional 8 episodes. But they basically set up an arc in season 1 in 2 or 3 episodes, and then they like finish the arc in season 2. So like in season 2 at the end, like it's really good. Like when I recommended it to you, I was like, "Yo, watch season 1 and 2," which basically ends up being like 10 episodes, and it's one good long arc, and I really recommend it. It's it's an English anime. It's accessible. It's done by it's all Western, like it's a westernized anime. Like it's a good example of like that style we've talked about.
The key art that I've seen looks tremendous.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. So at the end of season 2, they certainly left the door open for season 3. Yep. I think at the time, I was just confused why they went the direction that they did. Mm-hmm. In season 3, it is starting to make sense because this appears to be the final season 4. Okay. So yeah, I'm not done season 4 yet. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in. I won't spoil anything, of course, but I'll say that it's making season 3 make a little bit more sense.
Okay.
And lastly, and perhaps potentially most importantly, it's hard to tell if if you've got like recency bias, but I think they have substantially raised the bar of the animation in season 4. Not, when I say substantially, it's not like, it's twice as good, but it feels like shot to shot, there's just like a little bit more oomph. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like, if I'm right in my guess, because this is just how it felt, I didn't read this somewhere, but it really felt like season 1 was a proving ground. Like, if we make an anime, will anyone watch it?
Yeah.
And then people did, and the show just continued to pick up steam and do better and better. It just feels like Netflix is like happily throwing more and more money at this particular show, or more and more time at the. I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. Who knows? But season 4, they've definitely added. They're pumping the juice.
Well, it's on my list. Since you brought it up, that's the thing. I've never played the games. I have no
interest. I looked up the games because of the trailers, and I was like, this does not look like something I want to play.
Well, like they're Metroidvanias, right? Like I know, like Symphony of Darkness is. I think it was originally a PlayStation 1 game. I think that's like all time probably. People will debate it's one of the best games ever made. But even that, I've said this before. Like I love video games, like it's I've always my lifelong hobby, but I'm not you know, like, I'm not a super skilled gamer, and I find a lot of those games, like, have you heard of Hollow Knight?
No.
It's a game, it's on PC, it's on Switch, I think it's on PlayStation and Xbox as well, but it's same idea. It's like a Metroidvania, it's like a 2D side, like a side scroller. You go to new areas, you get a new ability, you can go back to a previous area and access like a new area of that area, kind of. It's like a sprawling kind of like a dungeon crawler kind of thing, but like they're traditionally fucking brutal. And those games, like, just there's something about them, like, I can't wrap my head around them. Like, I understand the mechanics, but it's all like twitch jumping and doing this, and like they're meant to be hard. But you know, like, I play games
timing
like,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like I play Bloodborne, and I'm playing Demon Souls now, and those are also quite difficult, and I don't have an issue with those. There's just something about the small scale, but no. Anyways, total tangent. But I do plan on watching this Castlevania as well, especially because it's so short.
Yeah, and you know, like, it's an interesting. There's just the problem with so much supernatural shit is that there's so much bad supernatural shit, right?
Yeah.
So much of this stuff, you could maybe make the argument that the majority of it is not great. Castlevania has a interesting, fresh, semi-fresh take on the vampire, supernatural, that kind of cool stuff, and is and it's an anime, and it's like. The voice acting is really good. The animation is fun. So yeah, it's a fresh take on those stories.
Right on. Check it out.
Sorry, Severus is attacking me.
Oh.
Also like a podcast first. Like we've skated by pretty handily up until you know what I mean. I think we've done well without like a fire alarm going off in the middle of an episode, or you have pets. I have pets. Neither of them have attacked us mid-episode.
Well, I lock myself away whenever we record these. In the every now and then I'll hear Finn at like the second door just pounding on it, trying to get it because he knows I'm in here. But luckily I have another door in between there to kind of
you've created a man trap. You're like you might get down one of these doors.
Can't get down the second.
What do you got? I got like
I got a total left field.
I'm so excited. I love fields and the direction left.
So, well, obviously, like this past like 2 weeks has been, Leanne and I have been dealing with strep throat and all that, and pretty much just been locked to the couch. In a like feverish rant, like I don't know what came over me. I put on the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance.
Dude, me too.
Did you finish it?
I got like one episode left.
I burned through all 10. Oh, like over like a week or so.
Maybe I've got 3 left. I've made the
Dave,
same.
It's tremendous.
I've made the same joke to like 3 people, and I'm sure other people have made the joke, but the joke is that I've never watched a full basketball game in my life. Like, I think I drunkenly watched, like, the playoffs that year that the Raptors won. Yeah. Dude, I almost just called them the Leafs, like, 100%. But I think I was, like, at bars with a lot of my friends for the playoffs, because, Ottawa was just going crazy, and I cannot imagine
all Canada was. Yeah, it was nice, yeah.
So it was really fun, and so I took part in that, but... Like, besides that, I've 100% never watched a basketball game. And after watching, like, 6 hours of Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, which might be one of, like, the best docuseries ever, by the way.
100%. I
am starting to think that this guy was pretty good at basketball.
You think?
Yeah.
It was interesting because I've always known he's, like, the greatest.
Yeah.
Right? And the only other context I have with him is my childhood favorite of Space Jam.
Dude.
Which I've watched, like, I can't even count the amount of times I've watched that. Put that on for Corinne, didn't care. She
Really?
Yeah, no interest. I was like, wow.
Tell me this about Space Jam.
Yeah.
Is it good because it's nostalgic, or was it, like, actually well received? At the time, because like an athlete starring in his own movie with animated characters in the 90s sounds like a recipe for fucking disaster.
Dave, the Looney Tunes are fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no,
there is some tremendous
amazing.
jokes in that movie.
I can't believe that it worked out, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not an actor, you're an athlete, and
But
we're gonna put you in front of green screen, and like that's barely even a thing we do. I can't believe that's a thing. Like, I can't believe it was good.
After watching this documentary, do you not say it wouldn't have fucking mattered what they did? They could have put Michael Jordan in anything
because he was in the zone.
Yeah, it just would have panned out.
He couldn't miss.
I don't think so. Definitely not. You know, that was a 3-pointer for sure. But it's the same thing too. Like the only reason I watch this, because like I'm not a hockey guy at all. Like I've tried. You know, I have friends and family that are into it. Like it was some strange Canadian. What's the word I'm looking for? Like companionship to the sport. I just don't give a fuck. Like I never have, and I just don't.
Yeah, NHL does nothing for me.
And baseball's kind of the same, and football, same thing. Tried, like, I've watched over the years, just never stuck. But basketball is always from a distance. Like, I like it. Yeah, it's simple. You know, it's.
I mean, they're all simple.
Yeah, but like.
But you feel like it does something for you. That's all that matters.
It's fast, and it's, like you're not trying to follow a small ball, and it's not like about getting field goals and moving an inch. Like football's too slow, hockey's too fast,
right?
And it's borderline too violent. Like it's crazy what those guys do. So basketball has just always been in that. Like I wish I played growing up. I didn't. I was never very athletic, but But anyway, so I threw it on, and Dave, I was blown away. So keep in mind, going in, I know ESPN made it. I think it's like them in partnership with Netflix or whomever. Yeah. Michael Jordan probably had a lot to say on what
100%.
Happened in this, but they also showed some stuff of like, showing him not in a good light either and all that. But I don't know, all in all, really good. And
I'm not done yet.
No, it ends well. It ends good.
It is.
It ends a high note.
It is. You're right though. It's astounding. Like there's that thing we've heard said a lot of times by a lot of filmmakers, like you make a movie 3 times. It's like once when you write it, once when you shoot it, and again when in the edit. Mm-hmm. This is not a movie. This is like an editing masterclass of a docuseries, because
absolutely
they must have had. I can't imagine how much footage they had. They seem to have unlimited footage. Well, they were documenting everything.
Well, they said that right. Well, because everyone was documenting him. Like, he was like the most important
it's like
person
fucking
in the
Michael
world.
Jackson.
But the thing, because they say it right up top, they had unfettered access for an entire season behind the scenes, and that's why they had all that footage, and it's just never been seen before.
And so they just the way they selected it and the way they chose to tell the story, like a couple times they kind of confused me, because they're talking about Rodman and the impact he had on the team, but like as they're going chronologically through the MJ's career, he's like playing against Rodman. I was like, wait, what?
Because he was with them on the second three-peat, not the first.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. For a sec there, I was like, okay, wait, what? But yeah, the rest of it just feels like you're kind of on your way.
I feel like I was there with them. I felt like I was in the room for a lot of this stuff. It was crazy.
The losses, the shoes. I knew more about Air Jordan going in than anything other.
Sure. Oh yeah, sure.
Other than I
hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, but that was cool to see. Yeah, man, Last Dance. If you guys haven't seen it, like the thing is,
it's long. It's very long.
Yeah, but same with my girlfriend. Like neither of us are basketball fans. We watched the pilot together. We're like, holy shit! Like this made me care about basketball. Yep. Like more so, like Michael Jordan, right?
Yes, I definitely came out of that more pro basketball than him. Like obviously, like he's an idol. Like he does, it's like obviously he's amazing and all that. But no, I agree. I definitely came out having a bigger respect for the sport.
There's a really interesting quote about like how, and I wish I knew who said it. I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and one of the guys I follow pretty closely is Tom Segura, and he's a huge basketball guy and Michael Jordan guy specifically. And people will forever draw comparisons. Who is the GOAT, right? Like I'm also a major fan of UFC, right? That stuff never stops. Who's the GOAT?
No,
who's
for
this?
sure.
Who's that? But there are tons of conversations comparing, obviously, MJ to LeBron and Kobe, and like one person apparently there's this famous quote. I think it was like a coach or something, friend of Michael Jordan's, who knew them all, and said like Kobe and LeBron need to beat you at basketball. Michael Jordan needs to beat you at everything.
Yeah.
Because he's so supremely, just ridiculously competitive.
Yeah.
I
had no idea how competitive he was.
Yeah, they're saying like he'll play golf with a group of guys and he'll play to their level of like financial success. He'll be like, oh, like, you're not a basketball player, right? So I'm going to bet you $100 a hole. And but you're rich like me. I'm going to bet you $10,000 a hole. And then he's quick to collect. Like at the end of the game, he's like, so where is it?
Oh yeah, they did not shy away from any of that. Like
and he has these quotes when people want the money. Like people are like, why do you need the money so bad? Like why are you so quick to collect? He's like, I want you to know I'm walking around with your money in my pocket. Jesus,
wild!
I kind of fucking love it.
It's crazy too, because like I say a cast of characters because these are all real people. They're all like involved in this like this sports team, but just like the crew of characters they have in these like
Scottie Pippen,
like Scottie Pippen and like John Paxson and Steve Kerr and all these guys, like it's really cool. And you almost wonder how much of them were fucking scared to talk shit about Michael Jordan there on camera, but like so like I said, I think there was an air of bias.
Of course. It's about him, right? It
is about him. So, but like I said, I highly recommend it to anyone to watch that. It's very enlightening. It's surprisingly enlightening.
It's just, it's just good to see, what kind of a product can you get when you are meticulous enough about, the story you want to tell, when you have unreal access to historical documents on the subject. Like that is just, they've set a hell of a bar for a docuseries. Like when people ask me going forward, what's a good docuseries? Like, damn, like this one is just really, really high up.
I'll be recommending this to people for a long time. For
Same, 100%. It's one of the all-time greats. I don't have a ton more. I wanted to mention that I'm still caught up. I'm still week to week on To Your Eternity.
And still liking it, still digging it?
Still digging it. I would say that after 6 episodes, I think, which is what I'm on, I finally think I know what the show is about.
Okay.
But it's funny that it took this long, not in a bad way. That's not a criticism, though. I think that the show has done a really good job of misdirecting you.
Yeah.
Or misdirecting me, just the audience. And every time I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be this, or nope, it's going to be that. But, it's all in the same spirit that they set in the pilot. And, I've recommended this show, specifically its pilot, to like 30 people since I've watched it. So I think I'm going to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
I'll continue watching this one week to week.
Soon. I think in the next day or two there, we're going to fire it up. So I'm looking forward to it.
Same also with not To Your Eternity, I just said that. Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah, still digging it?
Yeah, quick one-liner on that is basically like, it's steady, kind of weird. It's hard to... This one's a little bit trickier to talk about without spoiling much. So I'll just say it's like a fun shonen-y ish show that involves like... I think I said it already because you find out in the pilot. So here's your spoiler warning in 3, 2... It involves time travel, right? So this guy has to go back to the past to try and prevent something from happening. And it's just turns out to be more and more complex, and he starts caring about people in the past that he didn't think he would, and it's neatly shot, and it's like a really cool just kind of flick on thing when I want like a change of pace. I would say it's not like up there with Jujutsu or To Your Eternity or anything like that, but it's easygoing anime, and it has an interesting premise. Also cool. Probably a good introduction to anyone looking to get into anime or to watch something a little bit different.
Still on my list. I will get to it.
Yeah. You got anything else?
Yeah, a couple things. So there's one I want to say for later, but I watched So season 2 of Love, Death, and Robots came out.
Oh fuck! I haven't even touched this yet.
Yeah, man, super quick run. It's only 8 episodes this time. They split up the season. I think.
How many did you say?
8 episodes.
Okay.
And I think the second part is coming out in the fall. I read.
Wait, so is it season 2, part 1 and 2, or is it like season 2 small and then like season 3 in the fall?
No, I don't think they haven't marketed it as part 1 and part 2, but I have read that they're going to be releasing another 8 episodes in the fall.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to be 3 or they're just going to bundle it into season 2 or something. But it was good. Really cool stories. I won't.
You won't what? Grant.
Sorry.
Sorry, you cut out on me. What were you saying?
Oh, you cut on me too. It was weird. The great thing about little compilations and little stories like this is it just kickstarts the imagination. Like you watch one, you finish it. It's like 10 minutes long or 15 minutes long. There's so much work goes into such a short story. Like the world is there for you. They have characters. It's just a neat little package, and you just got to watch it open. You just got to watch the president open in front of you, and you watch it, and you're like, oh, that was awesome. Then you watch the next one, and you're like, oh, this should be a show. And you watch it looks so fucking amazing, and it's crazy what people are like the budget, like a 20-minute clip would cost.
Dude, even in season 1, they've got a couple bangers in there. Yeah.
I think there's a couple returning studios from the first season in this.
Church.
You'll definitely tell. In the first season, there's the one where essentially people they dial into like monsters, and there's like an arena fight. I think that studio has one as well this season. I think it's them. One of the really cool ones. I think it's them as well, and it's just like set on a different planet. Very futuristic, kind of Blade Runner-esque. That should be its own spin-off movie. It was tremendous.
Really?
And there's one. It's I think it's only 7 minutes, super quick in and out, and it's one of the fucking most unsettling things I've ever seen. Unsettling
is a fun word because they toe the unsettling line in season 1.
No, this one really pushes the boundary. It's not a huge spoiler. It's Christmas themed. It's 7 minutes long, and what they do with 7 minutes is incredible.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see what like animators can do with just a quick idea in a short amount of time. Yeah. That's why I think I told you a few weeks back I watched that Netflix Oscar-winning digital short. If Anything Happens, I Love You. It's very cool just to see like it's just an idea, and what can you do with it in the art form. Yeah, so big fan of that anthology. I will end up checking that out.
Super quick. You could rip through it in honestly an hour.
Really?
Yeah, an hour. Yeah, hour 10. But it's good. They're all good. There's no stinkers. There was a couple in the first season that not that I just didn't like, but it was just not everything has to be perfect in an anthology like that. But this season I liked it beginning. And there's some people bickering and bitching online about how, oh, it's not good as the first season. But it's like, honestly, man, like the work and dedication put into these clips, like people can't talk shit on them.
I've heard that some people online are sometimes negative. Like the internet.
It's so crazy.
Out there. Yeah.
It's so silly.
I haven't encountered it myself. But, what else you got?
That's the thing too. I don't want to dive into it too deep if you haven't fully listened to it yet. But the new Manchester Orchestra record.
Yeah. So new Manchester Orchestra record. I was about to say like spoiler warning if you haven't heard it. Oh god, that's pretty good. So it's on a close repeat for me right now. But you and I listen to records differently. But also the same, in that I think you like to sit at like get the vinyl going, and give it like a good front to back jam, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually a couple times. Yeah,
big on that myself too.
Yeah, going forward, but yeah,
big on that myself too. But also I'm weird. everybody has the way that they enjoy music, right?
Absolutely.
Whatever. Some people like to drive with it. Some people like to whatever. For whatever reason, my thing is just sort of trying to just let my ADD subside, listen to the music, and then I also like to have the album art and like the lyrics up for every track while I listen to it. Mm-hmm. And I've done that for about the first half of the record.
Okay.
And I'd say there's a quick dip in energy halfway through, and then it finishes strong.
So for the first half, what are your favorite songs?
Oh God, I like Inaudible, and I think the first half is really strong. I love Inaudible into Angel of Death.
Okay.
And I love Bedhead.
Okay. Bedhead is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that because I love when a band, it's clearly the single.
Yeah.
But it doesn't pull away from the theme and general tone of the record.
Mm-hmm.
And Bedhead is the perfect example of that. I really like Annie.
Yeah, I love Annie too.
And I also Angel of Death, I would say, is probably Keel Timing was one of the other singles. I've listened to that a few times. But I see it's funny. I had never really, I can't believe I didn't know that. Like the way I listen to records, I do not seek out the lyrics until I've like listened to them at least like 5 or 6 times. If it's a record I really care about, I need to hear, because I'm not saying I'm a musician, but like that's at the end of the day, I very rarely care what people are saying on a record. I've always been the way they say it, like the
intonation, the
intonation, and that goes back to the metalcore and the hardcore music I listen to. Like, it's not often I seek out the lyrics. I don't need to hear what they're saying because I like the way they're saying it. They're using their voice as the instrument, and Andy Hull, like the singer, he's also, there's a rumor that he's on the new Every Time I Die record.
I'll die.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that because he was in their Christmas special.
Was he?
Yeah, and they kind of teased about like,
weird collaboration that I would never see coming.
But like they are kind of like a hardcore band from.
Are they?
Well, that's their roots. Like they were kind of heavy at the beginning. They were like indie, but they had that kind of, not thrash. That's not a good term to use, but like they had an edge to them, and they toured with like a lot of those bands.
Interesting.
They're really close with Manchester Orchestra is very close with Touche Amore or Touche Amore.
Really?
It's
so funny. I found them well after my interest in that music had, like, well after all those roots. You know what I mean? Like I found them in the last like 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I would say that their previous record, and I've listened to a lot of the before stuff too, but their previous record, One Black Mile to the Surface, or A Black Mile to the Surface, was one of those records that like just fundamentally changed my taste in music.
Yeah. And
like how I listen to music and just kind of what I look for. That was a huge record. This one was very anticipated and very much for that reason. Yeah.
I've been listening to some, like, it's not a competition, but I think when Simple Math came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I remember when I would watch, remember when people watched late night? They were on Conan.
Yeah.
And they came out.
They did a show for him this time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's always been. I've always liked Conan. He's a musician. He always has good music on his shows.
Conan had Circa Survive on as well.
Really?
Yeah. Like, Circa Survive did one late night show, and it was Imaginary Enemy off of Blue Sky Noise.
Whoa,
dude, it might have been like, I'll find it for you, but it might have fucking been Fallon or no, it was Kimmel, I think.
Kimmel also used to have good acts.
Yeah.
Every Time I Die was on Kimmel once.
What?
Yeah.
That's obscene.
They're on his Halloween show. They played Werewolf.
That's okay. Well, that's pretty fucking cool.
But back to so Manchester, like, I've listened to it 2 times now, like, front to back.
Yeah.
I do like. There's. On the second, like on the B side, I find not the songs, they should have like switched them around, but I think there is one track that kind of breaks up the record.
The song that follows Annie, maybe. There's a dip. There's Something Somewhere breaks a flow.
So the song, I think my favorite record is favorite song on the record is Obstacle.
Oh, interesting.
Which,
See, I'm not super deep on that latter half yet, so
yeah,
I'm
that's the thing.
Pay special attention to that.
But no, I really like this record. You know, like they've not put a record, and that's the thing. I'm not trying to fucking blow smoke up their ass, but like there are not a lot of bands that are on musically that are on their level.
Mm-hmm.
They are on all aspects, like just the musicianship of everyone. Like everyone is like at full throttle, fucking crushing their instruments, and his voice on this record has never been better. Like it's
dude, big time. And
yeah,
I think it's good to hear you say that you feel that way about just the musical talent on the record, because I'm a big fan just kind of their sound, and this, as pretentious as we might be sounding about how we listen to music. And another part of it is like I think I hadn't really put the pieces together, but I've realized over the years that I think some of my favorite albums are always thematic albums.
Sure.
Protest the Heroes like Fortress or
Yeah.
Keziah, or just records like that. And A Black Mile to the Surface is a very thematic album, and this one is as well. And it's really cool to just see a band commit to it and just be like, you know what, this is what we're doing for the entire record. A lot of bands, and I'm not saying one way is good and one way is bad, but a lot of bands really go for a diverse offering kind of approach. Like, how can we flex all of our muscles on one record? And then a lot of bands go for like, okay, just pick a direction and we're going in that direction.
It's just good.
They seem to do that.
Craftsmanship, like what is needed for a song is used. It's not overplayed or overdone. It's honestly refreshing. And it's funny because I know this quote's been going around a lot over the past couple weeks. Rock is not dead. Like, this is, I think it was Gene Simmons, like, just, being an uppity rich asshole. But like, it's Manchester, like these indie-esque bands, like, since the 2000s, like that's kind of where it kind of shifted. And it's jumped around a little bit of like what's popular and all that, but like, if you think rock is dead, you should check out this record, and I think you'll be surprised. And rock is not dead.
No, man, huge fan. I couldn't agree more. Every time I look at them on social media, I'm like, how are they not immensely popular? I mean, you can say that about so many of the bands that we follow.
Sure.
But like Manchester Orchestra just seems so accessible, and like, what about them?
They're dark though.
Yeah, I guess it's
They're very dark.
I think it's the subject matter, or just maybe just kind of how they go about it. But Jesus, man, they're just so talented.
Yeah.
That's glad you brought that one up. I haven't set up my whole vinyl setup since moving into this place. So I'm waiting to finish a couple condo projects, get like some TVs mounted and shit like that, and then Vinyl City.
Yeah, boy.
Okay. Manchester Orchestra. The album we talked about is A Million Masks of God. Definitely check it out. I would really recommend, as a precursor, if you've never heard them before, check out A Black Mile to the Surface. Grant, what was the record you said you really liked?
Simple Math.
Simple Math. I've heard that one too. They're all great.
Yeah.
Just check them out on Spotify.
Cope is I also really, really like. Very dark though. Yeah.
Embrace the darkness.
Embrace the darkness. Manchester Orchestra, you gotta do it, guys.
Okay. Speaking of darkness, last thing I've got is there was this article I read, and I can't believe I'm like into the minutia, but I mean, look at us hosting a post show podcast. I'm so into the minutia that I saw it was a story that don't ask me his name, a main animator, one of the really big contributors, has left Studio MAPPA, and he, tweeted all of his juicy drama about leaving the studio. But
whoa, really?
Yeah, and it got loosely translated. I don't have quotes in front of me, but the TLDR and kind of the gist of it was like insane working conditions. Every animator is typically working on 4 projects at a time. They're all constantly citing like, hey, this isn't our best work. We'd love to go back and, pretty this up. And it's like, no, you have like 3 other shows to start working on, unless you want to work like unpaid overtime, you just got to get moving.
Holy fuck, man.
Not, we've talked about this too, like not a super hot, salacious, like crazy take. Like,
yeah,
it sounds like animation studios are fucking tough places to work at.
Yeah.
So not crazy, but this is coming off of like, I mean, how many things have we just seen MAPPA put out? Jujutsu Kaisen, Yasuke, Attack on Titan Season 4.
Their fucking hand is in every cookie jar. They have there's a really big IP that they're working on. I think the reveal event is in June for that Chainsaw Man. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes.
That's like their next big fucking thing. That they're
they got that too, eh? Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just committing and must be bidding really aggressively and whatever, but yeah, no doubt.
Well, it's shitty to hear. It is,
but it's easy to forget that these drawings are made by people, right? I would be so curious if anyone out there knows of one. I would love to see a docuseries or a documentary or just some kind of behind-the-scenes look of what an animation studio looks like and what the process is like. Because I'm really curious, like, how big of a team do you got? How many animators are working on a given show, and how spread are they? What does that look like? Does it vary studio to studio? But I'd be really curious to be like, okay, what did it take to make this first season of Jujutsu Kaisen? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be really curious to see what about that, because obviously, like, you look at like the Pixar movies, right? And it's like fucking, they're so well funded, and it's teams of people working with their heads down for 3 straight years. Anime season cycles are very different. So I'd be very curious.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, super aggressive. So I'd be really curious to see like a behind the scenes look if anyone knows anything about that.
Yep.
That's all I got.
That was all I got.
Boom. This was fun.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Another episode of the Post Show.
In the bag.
Yeah, we'll be back again with more Post Show for next week. If you are enjoying this as much as we are, give us a like, comment, follow, subscribe, do the relevant social media thing on the relevant social media platform of your choosing. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Later, guys.
Cheers.